What if the conflict we're seeing today is only the beginning of a much larger geopolitical struggle? As tensions rise between Israel and Iran, many analysts are asking a difficult question. Is this confrontation really just about Iran? Or is it part of a much broader competition for influence across the Middle East? Some experts believe the current conflict could reshape regional power dynamics for years to come. But what exactly is happening behind the headlines? And could this struggle extend beyond Iran into a wider geopolitical rivalry? Tonight, we break down the strategy, the history, and what it could mean for the future of the region. The Middle East has always been one of the most strategically important regions in the world. Energy resources, global trade routes, and historical alliances all intersect here. Because of this, political rivalries often extend far beyond individual countries. Over the past decade, regional competition has intensified between multiple powers seeking influence. One of the most significant dynamics involves Israel and Iran, but analysts increasingly argue that the broader issue may not be limited to a single rivalry. Instead, it may involve a long-term struggle for regional influence. Understanding this perspective requires examining the historical background. The relationship between Israel and Iran has been tense for decades. Political disagreements, security concerns, and regional alliances have all contributed to a deep strategic rivalry. Iran's leadership, including Ali Khamenei, has frequently criticized Israel's regional policies. Meanwhile, Israeli leadership under figures such as Benjamin Netanyahu has consistently described Iran as one of the country's most serious security concerns. These opposing views have created a situation where both countries closely monitor each other's actions. However, the rivalry extends beyond rhetoric. Both countries have invested heavily in military, technological, and diplomatic capabilities. This long-term competition is one reason tensions periodically rise. So what does regional supremacy actually mean? In international politics, regional supremacy refers to a situation where one country holds significant influence over security, alliances, and political dynamics within a region. Countries seeking this influence typically invest in advanced military capabilities, strategic alliances, economic partnerships, intelligence networks. Israel has long focused on maintaining a strong security position in the Middle East. At the same time, Iran has developed its own network of regional relationships and strategic partnerships. This overlapping influence is one reason tensions continue to evolve. Many analysts argue that the broader regional picture involves multiple actors. Countries across the Middle East pursue their own strategic goals. For Israel, security planning often involves monitoring developments across several neighboring regions. For Iran, regional partnerships and influence are key components of its foreign policy. This complex network of interests means that tensions rarely involve just two countries. Instead, they reflect broader geopolitical dynamics, and this is where global powers also become involved. The United States has played a central role in Middle Eastern geopolitics for decades. Washington maintains close security cooperation with Israel and maintains military and diplomatic presence across the region. At the same time, the United States has had a difficult relationship with Iran for many years. Because of these relationships, developments involving Israel and Iran often draw attention from American policymakers. Diplomatic strategy, economic sanctions, and regional partnerships all become part of the broader geopolitical picture. One of the biggest questions people are asking today is whether tensions between Israel and Iran could spread to other parts of the region. History shows that regional rivalries sometimes influence neighboring countries. However, it is also important to recognize that governments often seek to avoid large-scale escalation. Diplomacy, deterrence, and strategic communication frequently play important roles in preventing broader conflict. Still, the uncertainty surrounding current tensions continues to attract global attention. Why does this matter for the rest of the world? Because instability in the Middle East can affect global markets, international security, and diplomatic alliances. Energy supplies and shipping routes often pass through the region. Political developments there can therefore influence economies worldwide. That's why governments across Europe, Asia, and the Americas closely monitor events involving Israel and Iran. Diplomatic channels often remain active behind the scenes during periods of heightened tension. Looking ahead, analysts are trying to determine how the balance of power in the Middle East may evolve. Will regional powers move toward cooperation, or will strategic competition continue to dominate political decisions? The answers will likely depend on multiple factors, including diplomacy, economic development, and international partnerships. Moments of tension sometimes lead to negotiations that reshape relationships. Other times, they reinforce existing rivalries. For now, the situation remains fluid. Let's return to the central question we raised at the beginning of this video. Is the rivalry between Israel and Iran part of a broader struggle for regional influence? And if so, how might that competition shape the future of Middle Eastern politics? At this stage, analysts continue to debate the answers, but understanding the strategic context helps explain why these events receive so much global attention. The evolving relationship between Israel and Iran highlights the complexity of modern geopolitics. Rivalries, alliances, and strategic messaging all play roles in shaping events. Whether current tensions lead to greater confrontation or new diplomatic efforts remains to be seen. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think the current situation represents a long-term struggle for regional influence, or do you believe diplomacy will eventually reduce these tensions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Respectful discussion helps everyone better understand these complex global issues. And if you want more clear and in-depth analysis of international politics and geopolitical developments, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next update.